This week on ANN, General Conference President Ted N.C. Wilson calls for prayer regarding the global spread of the coronavirus.
Deadly tornadoes hit the U.S. state of Tennessee.
And the U.S. Supreme Court makes a ruling in the religious liberty case of Patterson versus Walgreens.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
First in the news, on March 2nd, President of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church, Ted N.C. Wilson, asked for special prayer in regards to the coronavirus. The coronavirus is known as COVID-19 and has spread globally since the end of 2019. At the time of this recording, more than 90,000 people have been diagnosed with the disease in 65 countries. More than 3,000 people have died.
In his statement, Wilson acknowledged the virus has caused increasing apprehension in travel, business, healthcare, and meetings.
In a statement asking members to pray, Wilson said, "Continue to pray for our church members and the population of many countries around the world, and especially for those who have contracted this illness and those who have lost loved ones. Let us be strong witnesses in total member involvement, sharing Christ's love and care to those in need in a very helpful and appropriately health-conscious manner."
Wilson also addressed questions about plans for the 2020 General Conference session to be held in Indianapolis, Indiana over the summer. He assured members that executive officers and leaders were reviewing the situation and possible scenarios. However, at this time, current and long-standing plans for the 2020 General Conference session are still in place.
Wilson ended his appeal for prayer by encouraging members to take comfort and complete reliance in the Lord, saying, "As the worldwide Seventh-day Adventist Church, we are in His hands in whatever difficulties we face for the great mission to proclaim Christ, His three angels' messages, and His soon second coming. Thank you for praying for God's church and its work."
To read the full statement, visit news.adventist.org.
Before we move on, we want to share some information about COVID-19.
The novel coronavirus, previously known as 2019 nCoV, is a new strain of coronavirus that was first detected in Wuhan, China in December 2019.
Believed to originally have been transmitted from animals to people in a live animal market, the virus has now become transmissible from person to person.
Like other coronaviruses, COVID-19 is likely to spread through coughing or sneezing, close personal contact such as shaking hands, and touching one's mouth, nose, or eyes after touching contaminated objects.
Symptoms range from mild cold-like symptoms to severe pneumonia requiring hospitalization and sometimes results in death, although most previously healthy people fully recover. Those most susceptible to becoming severely ill include older adults and people with pre-existing medical conditions such as asthma, diabetes, and heart disease.
How can we protect ourselves? First, frequently wash hands with soap and water or alcohol-based hand sanitizer for at least 20 seconds.
Keep a 3 feet distance from anyone with cold or flu-like symptoms such as cough or fever.
Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth.
And how can we protect others? First, cover your nose and mouth with tissue or elbow, not your hands when coughing and sneezing.
Throw away tissues into closed bins immediately after use.
Wash hands with soap and water or alcohol-based hand sanitizer for at least 20 seconds after coughing, sneezing, and caring for others who are sick.
Avoid close contact with others if you have cold or flu-like symptoms.
Avoid travel if you have a fever and cough.
If experiencing fever, cough, and difficulty breathing, please seek medical attention immediately and share recent travel history.
Early in the morning on Tuesday, March 3rd, multiple tornadoes touched down across central Tennessee in the United States. One of those tornadoes caused severe damage in downtown Nashville. 25 people are reported to be dead, including several children. More people are injured and missing. South Central Adventist Community Services Director Lily Buckingham has been in communication with the Tennessee voluntary organizations active in disaster teams. Kentucky-Tennessee ACS Director Steve Rose is reaching out to their team leads around the region to assess the needs of these communities. All local ACS teams are available to offer support as needs are determined on the ground. We ask that you please keep the affected families in your thoughts and prayers. We'll be back with more updates as more information is available. In the meantime, you can visit communityservices.org for more information about how you can help.
On Monday, February 24, a nearly 9-year journey came to an end when the Supreme Court declined to hear Patterson versus Walgreens. This case came out of Walgreens' decision to terminate Daryl Patterson because he failed to work a single Sabbath in 2011. The case wound its way all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, asking the question, what does the law require employers to do in order to accommodate the religious beliefs of its employees? Patterson asked the court to reconsider its 1977 decision in TWA versus Hardison. Hardison said anything more than a minimal inconvenience or expense would be an undue hardship. Associate General Counsel for the Seventh-day Adventist World Church, Todd McFarland, says, while it is disappointing that the court did not take Patterson, the fact is his case moved the cause of religious liberty in the workplace forward immeasurably. Before Patterson's case, religious employees were not only stuck with the Hardison decision, there was no movement to get the Supreme Court to reconsider Hardison. That has all changed. In declining to hear Patterson, 3 justices said they were looking for an appropriate case to revisit Hardison. In a statement made when the case was denied, Justice Samuel Alito wrote, I reiterate that review of the Hardison issue should be undertaken when a petition in an appropriate case comes before us. The Patterson case, despite it not being granted, is considered a significant development in workplace religious accommodation. The Adventist Church is committed to continuing this fight and to bettering the workplace for all people of faith. For more information and other articles on Patterson versus Walgreens, visit nadadventist.org.
Hundreds of people came to celebrate the opening of the landmark museum and research center on the Galapagos Islands, where tourists and scientists alike can explore the origins of the Earth with the state-of-the-art technology.
The Origins Museum of Nature, located in Puerto Ayora, combines touchscreen televisions and virtual reality headsets with fossils and giant tortoise shells to offer visitors an interactive experience where they can study the rich natural history of the legendary Pacific Islands.
President of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, Ted N.C. Wilson, said, as Seventh-day Adventists, the source of our understanding of our origins, our reason for being here, and our purpose in helping nature to be preserved is found in our relationship with God. May many people come to know more about origins and God through this museum.
The Origins Museum received a warm welcome from government leaders and scientists at the inauguration.
The Vice Mayor of Puerto Ayora thanked the Adventist Church for opening the museum and predicted that many visitors would view its exhibits.
The Ecuadorian government estimates 250,000 tourists annually visit the Galapagos Islands, located about 600 miles off the coast of Ecuador. Tourists primarily flock to Santa Cruz Island, where the museum is located.
A group of invited scientists, including the director of the Charles Darwin Research Station, which promotes conservation and biodiversity on Galapagos, praised the museum for encouraging environmental stewardship.
The Origins Museum marks a milestone in the Adventist Church's efforts to assist people to live better lives physically, mentally, socially, and spiritually through urban centers of influence.
The church operates hundreds of urban centers of influence around the world, including bookstores, fitness clubs, and community centers with language lessons and healthy cooking classes. Origins, however, is the church's first foray into a high-technology museum.
About 250 church members worship in 3 congregations on the island, which has a population of 12,000. 5 new members recently joined the church through baptism.
For more information on the new museum, visit news.adventist.org.
Coming up, ADRA Canada shares the story of a young woman who, thanks to ADRA, is back in school.
But up next, Maranatha volunteers recently returned from their first mission trip to Côte d'Ivoire.
Welcome back.
A group of volunteers recently returned from a mission trip to the African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, where they constructed buildings for the Abbé Broquois Seventh-day Adventist Church.
This mission trip was one of Maranatha's first in the country of Côte d'Ivoire, where there are less than 10,000 Adventist church members.
Maranatha volunteers sent this report.
A group of Maranatha volunteers recently returned from a mission trip to the African nation of Côte d'Ivoire, where they constructed buildings for the Abbé Seventh-day Adventist Church. Each day, church members and community people alike gathered around the construction site to see the progress made by the participants. Previously, this congregation met under a carport-like structure that offered no protection from the wind and rain. After completing the church and a bathroom building, volunteers were able to worship on Sabbath with the Abbé congregation in the new space. Beyond church construction, volunteers passed out educational items and toys to children in the neighborhood. This mission trip was one of Maranatha's first in the country of Côte d'Ivoire, where there are less than 10,000 Adventist church members. In 2019, Maranatha agreed to build churches and schools in response to a request from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in West Central Africa. The initial focus will be surrounding the largest city in the country, Abidjan. To learn more about Maranatha's work around the world, visit Maranatha's website at maranatha.org.
Inter-America's Children and Adolescents Ministries launched a new Vacation Bible Experience program which promises to reach more than 300,000 young people in local churches and Adventist schools throughout the territory this year.
More than 200 children and adolescent ministries leaders from throughout the Inter-America Division met in Miami, Florida. The purpose was to be trained in the evangelistic program and receive tools to reaffirm their commitment to sharing the love of Jesus to every child who enrolls in the annual initiative.
Children and Adolescent Ministries Director for the Adventist Church in Inter-America, Denora Rivera, said, "Our main objective with the VBE program is to let children and adolescents know that no matter what the circumstances, no matter what you go through in life, there's always a better way if we are holding on to God."
Themed Climbing Mountains Together with God, the program highlights Bible characters who faced numerous difficulties but who were able to overcome them, reaching the summit of victory, holding the hand of God with each step.
Delegates rotated through seminar stations with instructions and ideas on how to conduct devotional lessons, songs, activities, games, crafts, climbing honors, refreshments, and snacks, and historical information during the 5-day Vacation Bible Experience program.
Pastor Sostin Mfune, Associate Children's Ministries Director for the Adventist World Church, spoke to the delegation and encouraged them to continue teaching young people to trust in God as they learn to climb the mountains that come their way in life.
The workshop also included Inter-America's new program to follow this year for the Friendship Club, a program that invites children to take part in weekly learning activities after the VBE program.
The 8-week themed program will focus on 8 precious stones around the world and will take children on a journey of discovery, traveling across different parts of the world to learn spiritual lessons and apply them to their lives.
Rivera encouraged leaders to be strong in impacting the lives of children through the various initiatives and activities.
At 11 years old, Jama was preparing for marriage. She had dropped out of school so that she could learn all of the household tasks she would need to know to be a good wife in Nigeria.
That was when the Adventist Development and Relief Agency came and built a school near her village.
After Adra shared with parents and village leaders about the importance of education and the dangers of early marriage, Jama has gone back to school and is now planning to one day become a teacher. She tells her story in this touching video.
Adra Canada sent this report.
Hi, my name is Jama. I am 13 years old and in grade 6. I live in a small village in West Africa in the country of Niger. A typical day for me starts about 6 o'clock. I wash up, eat breakfast, and then walk to our new school. It takes about 30 minutes to get there. I am really enjoying my school. All of my friends are very happy for the new classrooms. They are built strong, with concrete walls and floors, and with nice blackboards and windows. The teachers are great, and we are learning a lot. Actually, I can say that the new school has changed everything for me. The old school that I used to go to when I was younger was just a hut made of sticks and mud. We all had to sit on a dirt floor while the teacher taught us from a small blackboard. I didn't like getting dirty sitting on the floor. After only a couple years of this, I lost interest in school altogether and just started staying home to help my mother. Most of the other girls in my village also dropped out. Actually, it is quite common for girls in Niger to drop out early so that they can start learning how to do all of the household tasks that women do so that they can get ready to be married. Even though I was only 11 years old at the time, my parents were already arranging for me to be married. The man was someone that I did not know, and he already had 3 wives. I was to be number 4. I didn't really like the idea, but in Niger, it is not the child who decides these things, it is the parents.
We didn't mean to cause her any harm. It is quite common in our culture for girls to marry early. We didn't know how dangerous it could be for our daughter. When Adra came to start work here, they gathered parents and teachers together from our community to have discussions about the dangers of early childhood marriage and the importance of education. We learned that having a baby before the age of 18 is not really safe for either the mother or the baby. Then Adra built a school compound with beautiful classrooms, toilets, and a good well. They gave the children everything they needed to be able to learn, like backpacks, textbooks, exercise books, pens and pencils, and even a solar lamp so that they could study their lessons at night. Adra has really changed the way our whole community now thinks about the importance of education and about early marriage for our girls.
Right away, my parents decided to cancel the plans for my wedding. First, I was accepted into a special speed school where I was able to learn the basics so I could catch up to the other children my own age. I am now in grade 6 and I am loving it. It is my dream to finish here and go on to secondary school. Someday, I wish to become a teacher myself.
Adra believes in education for all. Thanks to the work that Adra is doing to promote education for girls and discourage early marriage, things are changing in Niger. More child weddings are being canceled, and girls are going back to school. Every child, everywhere, in school.
The Seventh-day Adventist World Church and ADRA offices all over the world are collecting signatures to make sure every child everywhere gets an education.
If you want to add your voice to make sure young people like Djama stay in school, visit adra.org/inschool.
Coming up, Emily Mastrapa is here to share how you can get involved in Global Youth Day.
But up next, Adventist Mission shares mission projects from around the world to a new song by singer Kayla Carice.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system, the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back. Kayla Carice is a young Adventist singer who is using her voice to serve God.
This week, Adventist Mission shares some of their work around the world to her song, Seek God, Seek Life.
Adventist Mission has more.
What is this kingdom that you speak of? What is this faith you say I need? Is it really worth the fight to keep standing? first, let me give you a word, he cries. Give us faith that is unshakable, truth that makes our freedom grow, love that breaks our hearts of stone, and the peace that only you know. Be the rock that's firm in our stormy lives, the light that shines in our blinded eyes, the way that we might receive the prize, and the gift that we might have life. Seek God, seek life. Keep up the fight, our eternal life is in sight. Seek God, seek life. I have sought you first, let me give you a word, he cries. Seek God, seek life. Keep up the fight, our eternal life is in sight. Seek God, seek life. I have sought you first, let me give you a word, he cries. What is your reply?
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting adventistmission.org, then click on videos at the top.
March 21 is Global Youth Day, a time for young people to get out of the pews and become the sermon in their communities.
Emily Mastropper is here to share how your church can get involved.
Global Youth Day is just a couple weeks away. Every day, our actions and our hearts should reflect the love of God. On March 21, millions of Adventist youth around the world will unite to reflect that love. The theme for Global Youth Day for this year is I Care, especially caring for the homeless, strangers, and refugees. See how your active caring can make a difference. You can contact your pastor or conference youth director to see what projects your church will be involved in for this day. Make big plans and share them with the world. For more information and to download all the Global Youth Day promotional materials, visit globalyouthday.org. The official hashtag is GYD20. You can also use the hashtag BeTheSermon. We want to see what you're doing, so be sure to include these hashtags in your social media posts. We might even highlight your post during our live broadcast. You can watch the live broadcast on the GYD Facebook page at GC Youth Ministries GYD. You can also watch on their website, globalyouthday.org. Global Youth Day also launches the Youth Week of Prayer that goes from March 21 to 28. Youth Week of Prayer is a time to recharge and refuel spiritually. This year's focus will be the embrace, forgiveness, and reconciliation. Visit youth.adventist.org to get information on planning your events. Global Youth Day continues to have the highest digital impact for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Let's keep that up for Global Youth Day 2020.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to Michael Yonker for a look at Adventist history.
This week we hear about the medical work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
This week in Adventist history, we remember the importance of the medical work, the right arm of the gospel. The first week of March, the first month of spring in the Northern Hemisphere, has evidently seemed a good time for Adventists to inaugurate medical institutions. On March 1, 1859, the Okinawa Medical Center opened a modern 15-day hospital named the Adventist Medical Center near the city of Naha in the country of Japan. The medical center was the expansion of a smaller clinic opened at Shuri, the mission headquarters at the time. The hospital later saw further expansions. Also on March 1, 1948, U Nu, the Prime Minister of Burma, alongside the U.S. Ambassador, officiated at the opening ceremony of the Rangoon Adventist Hospital in what was then Burma, now Myanmar. The property was purchased by a 13th Sabbath School offering overflow. It soon became a 115-bed hospital operated by the Burma Union until nationalized in 1965. Again, also on March 1, 1960, the Bandung Adventist Hospital's groundbreaking ceremony took place in the city of Bandung in Java, Indonesia. Dr. Donald N. Holm guided the process. On March 2, 1953, the President of Brazil granted official recognition to the medical cadet corps called Curso Formacio Enfermeiro Pedalaro, abbreviated CFEP. This was the fruit of a medical cadet course incorporated into the training program of SDA colleges and academies in Brazil in 1945. On March 3, 1946, the Manila Sanitarium Hospital was officially reopened following World War II. William C. Richley served as the director until 1950. It serves as an acute care hospital with 152 beds. Also on March 3, 1964, the Kettering Medical Center near Dayton, Ohio, began offering medical services. It still serves alongside the Kettering College of Medical Arts today. Lastly, amongst others, on March 7, 1994, the River Plate University opened its medical school, becoming the third full medical program offered at a Seventh-day Adventist educational institution, the others being at Loma Linda and Montemorelos universities. With all of the above in mind, we invite you to continue supporting Adventist medical ministries. That's This Week in Adventist History.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details, and feel free to send full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Galatians, chapter 5, verse 13.
The passage says, "You, my brothers and sisters, were called to be free, but do not use your freedom to indulge the sinful nature. Rather, serve one another humbly in love."
Amen. That's our program for this week. And remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care.